Sales predictions, cash flow, revenue projections, assets and liabilities, expenses. These are part of your business forecast. But what about this? It's time to upgrade your business forecasting. Weather solutions from the Weather Company help you understand exactly how weather impacts your organization. Using IBM Watson AI, our weather solutions provide you with a deep understanding of weather's impact on your business across an array of weather conditions based on your operational and sales data. These insights can then be fed into your existing dashboards. It's how a canned food company, which was losing millions in frozen product during winter, reduced waste and saved money shipping by train instead of truck. How a major lawn care company learned to optimize their ad spend around vastly different regional weather patterns and increase sales by $30 million. How a roofing company predicted weather disruptions days in advance to better allocate materials and labor across hundreds of distribution centers. And how a live events company knew to stock more corn dogs for a music festival down south and more craft beer for a baseball game up north. They're all positive outcomes powered by weather. Because weather means better decisions. Weather means perfect soup. Weather means profitable lawn care. Weather means plenty of corn dogs. Weather means business. The Weather Company.
Namaskar and a very good afternoon. My name is Vincent Kurian, and I have great pleasure to invite you all on behalf of the Hindu Business Line, the Weather Company, and IBM Business to a webinar on weather and its impact on business. We have lined up an eminent panel of speakers to put forth their views on various aspects of the topic. Kindly allow me to touch upon the broad outlines of the theme of today's webinar. In business, we find that weather affects consumer behavior in terms of what products they buy, where they buy them, and in what quantity. Even if a business knows how normal weather affects its earnings, expected abnormal weather events present their own risks. Increased weather volatility has forced businesses to be more proactive in including weather insights into operational planning. Research shows that abnormal weather disrupts the operating and financial performance of 70% of businesses worldwide, bringing about shortfalls in sales and reduced cash flows, leading to financial distress and even business failure. Firms in the US are mentioning weather more and more in their annual reports. Only 25% of firms mentioned the term weather in 1994, while about 65% mentioned it in 2018. In all likelihood, it's a sign that climate change, through its impact on weather, is making the world a more expensive and volatile place to conduct business. Even as retail is shifting from brick and mortar stores to online shopping, the weather conditions exert their influence on consumer behavior. Companies need to track this trend as well. I am wrapping it up here and invite Mr. Himanshu Goyal, India business leader, the Weather Company, to make his remarks and presentations. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Goyal. Yeah.
I hope I can be heard well. So good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for taking time to join us today. So I'm going to take you, for 5 minutes, take you through the story of Weather Company, what we're really trying to do, what we aspire to do, and how we really want to help you in your business to take better decisions. Just as a background, Weather Company is a 44-year-old enterprise which was bought by the IBM company 4 years ago. And right at that time, we came to India and started working with a lot of clients and trying to make a difference here. So, when we look at agriculture, we are seeing a lot of volatility of weather. We are seeing a lot of environmental and regulatory pressures, and there's always a great demand for food and good quality and even traceability. So these are the latest things which drive human behavior on consumption. While we have challenges due to climate change to get to a point to produce enough food for everyone. The biggest challenge, what we see in weather when we look at agriculture per se, is about predictability of rain. A farmer needs to know how much will it rain, when it will rain, and how much it will rain. So, in order to do that, IBM invested in a big algorithm called Graph, which essentially is bringing an early forecast to developing countries like India and continents like Africa, etc. The whole idea is that how can we use the capability of artificial intelligence and data science to really get you a good idea of what will happen in next 3 days so that you could plan around your businesses, everything. Now, when we look at weather data, we divide them into, we actually don't divide, we actually segregate them into controllable and uncontrollable variables. And when we look at their implication on agriculture, the whole idea is that the controllable variables are something which a farmer will decide what to do, but the uncontrollable ones are the ones which human has to still work with data, techniques, and data to really get down to a point of making a good decision. So this is what we are after at IBM, and we are still trying to work onto these barriers of exponential data, accuracy of data, and limited tech resources. Now, how do we buffer this all for clients who are in agri-tech is at least bring them some dependable data as a source and then process it to give you some dependable, probable data for you to take a decision. And I'm going to demonstrate that through a quick demo so that the all the people in the food chain, in the agri ecosystem chain, get benefited with these capabilities today, which are available from us and our partners and a lot of our competitors as well, I would say. And what it eventually does is, light at a farm level, at a crop level, at a soil level, weather prediction, crop protection, all these things can be addressed fairly well. So let me just switch back into a quick demo and uh, show you something which we have built for agronomists. Now, this is an operations dashboard where, in summary, what you're seeing on the right side is some of your farms all across the world. And what we have done here is we have made a nice dashboard for you to see certain alerts. Now, I have a potato farm in Agra where I'm seeing there's an alert because soil temperature has really gone higher than what I expect it to be, because I now have to take some action there. I have another farm growing cornflower where I see some clouds which are coming, which are detrimental to my productivity, and I'm going to take an action. So what I could do is that this is a dashboard, and if you see the top layer, it tells me on each day what I have to be worried about. So let's say if I'm talking about tomorrow, there's a heavy wind speed on one particular farm called East, okay, in Northern America, which I have to be bothered about. So this is a snapshot which comes to you for next 10 days of your action, where you can figure out what I have to be worried about and what precautions I have to take. So let's go to Agra for a minute and let me show you a dashboard of my farm, which is just opposite the Taj Mahal, just across the river. So what you're seeing is here is an
The
interactive map.
dashboard is we can't see.
I think you're not sharing, Himanshu. You stop sharing.
Okay. Sorry. Do you see the dashboard now, the summary?
Yes, now we can say it.
Okay, my apologies. So this is a dashboard which I just described. So I'll just take half a second here more. So these are my farms listed here all across the world, and basis this timeline, which I can shift from tomorrow to Saturday to Sunday and so on, it will tell me what I have to be worried about. Now, this could be a cattle farm, this could be a farm, this could be a production unit, or this could be a storage unit, which you need to check on certain weather patterns, which may create a chaotic, unmanageable situation for you. And you can schedule an alert in this dashboard, and you'll be alerted on a sequence of a 15-day forecast. Now, let me just quickly go to the my farm in Agra, which I just described. It's just opposite to the Taj Mahal. So it has an alert, which I'm going to take a notice of now. And what you're seeing here is there's certain alerts and certain current conditions, and we show you a live map as well of what's happening on this farm. So if you see this image, this is my farm, and it's just opposite to the river Yamuna and Taj Mahal. And I've also, if you notice, I put in a lightning striker panel also here. So it's in case there's a lightning strike, I want to ensure my workers are safe, and I will ensure that they're not on the field, because we had such catastrophe this year a lot many times in eastern UP and Bihar. So this is your, I would say COVID times view of your farm if you want to look at cadastrally and you want to take actions at your own pace. And then last thing which I want to show you, I talked about the global atmospheric forecasting system. This is a global interactive map of weather, which is live weather. Just give it a moment for it to just come up, because it's a lot of animation in here. So what you're seeing is the wind streams while the map comes up. And all these green colors is precipitation. Now you see map of India with some clouds coming in. And what you see is there's some development of low pressure in and around Kerala coming hopefully northwards. So this is a way you see a live weather. And we have done a lot of engineering in it to show you various parameters here. But for the interest of this group, I just want to show you what does a soil moisture at 30 centimeter level, we can go down to 110 centimeter also, looks like for India and the world. So let me just show you that. This is the soil moisture level. Now, this is something which all agriculturists would be concerned about in order to take some action with irrigation or whatever they would be. So this is pretty much a quick story of what the weather company is after. And I'll give it back to Vincent now to take the discussion forward.
Great presentation, Mr. Himanshu. Thanks very much. Now it's time for us to go into the panel discussion. Let me have the pleasure of introducing our eminent panel of speakers for today's webinar. We have first and foremost Dr. R.S. Sothi, Managing Director of the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, GCMMF. We all know it as AMOL. Welcome, Mr. Sothi. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kurenji.
Sure. And then we have Mr. Mustafa PC, a widely admired CEO and co-founder of the ID Fresh Food, which is actually leading a revolution in the fresh food market in India. Welcome, Mr. Mustafa.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sure. And we have, of course, Mr. Krishna Kumar, founder and CEO of Cropin Technology Solutions, which has enabled data-driven farming by connecting all the stakeholders in the agro ecosystem. Welcome, Mr. Krishna Kumar. Great to have all you eminent panel speakers. And let me go to Dr. Sothi with my first question. Just to initiate the proceedings. Dr. Sothi, the dairy industry is one of the most important constituents of agriculture and animal husbandry sectors in India. It's a source of income for millions of rural households. Justifiably, it holds a vital position in India's economic map. So there's a whole lot of stuff riding on the dairy industry. If you look at it from a macro point of view, how do you see the weather impacting your operations on a day-to-day basis? If you can just take us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Korean ji.
Sure.
Dairy industry is the one industry which is getting maximum impact because of weather. See, what is dairy? Is production of, right from milk production. When I say production, means productivity of the animal. Milk procurement, basically collection of milk using the logistic. Third is distribution of milk or other fresh product. When I say fresh, means milk, buttermilk, dahi, paneer, all those products which are to be distributed 4 or 5 hours. And lastly, the demand of various milk and milk products varies a lot because of weather. Coming to the production, summer, rainy season, storms, winter, all impacts. Summer means production, milk productivity will be very low. Rainy season, if it is usual rain, it will be better. But if rains continuously for 6, 7, 10 days, again productivity declines because animals come under stress because cows and buffalo keep standing. And then lot of diseases also and mosquito also come. But winter for India is good. For the developed country, Europe or USA or New Zealand, winter has been declining in production. India, it is increased. I mean, if I give you ratio, there's a 25 to 30% production varies between winter and summer. So we have to keep our all capacity, all our logistic, all our processing capacity, keeping in mind the milk production during the winter. Similarly, procurement also. You see, procurement also get, summer will not impact the procurement because it will decline because of production. But if there are floods or storms or the rain, procurement gets impacted. Similarly, distribution of packed milk like in Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, if during winter and summer demand will vary, that I'll come later on, but distribution gets impacted because of the rains and the floods, or like we had the lockdowns or the this curfew, etc. also. Now coming to the demand of milk product varies differently. If I tell you, during summer, liquid milk demand will increase by around 5 to 10%, but demand for buttermilk will increase by 70%, dahi will increase 30 to 35%. Ice creams, I can tell you 4 months of summer season are more than 3 times the demand of this December to February. Similarly, this paneer or cheese sale increases about 20% during winter. Beverages sale increase tremendously during summer. So we have got mix of demand and supply. And dairy is one, temperature is the only thing which impacts a lot. And I mean, let me tell you, I'm very happy to Shri Manshu Goel's presentation that we can predict. And in fact, for us planning milk procurement or milk sale is very, very highly unpredictable because of the weather. And somehow, I mean, we do see weather conditions and other things, but somehow accuracy is not there.
Okay. Thanks for that very fascinating take on what's happening behind the Amul brand. And despite all what happens to the industry, you always have a presence countrywide. Let it be it winter, summer, be it rainy season, the monsoons. Thank you, Dr. Soti. Let me come to Mr. Mustafa. Do you see the effect of weather in your sourcing, supply, and also client demand? If yes, can you just give us?
Thanks, Vincent.
Yeah.
again, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. In the name of God, peace be unto you. Running any business is tough. Running food business is a very tough thing. So this I will agree with me on this. But I can tell you from my experience, running a fresh food business is the toughest job in the world. And that's what we're into now. Because you know, when you're into fresh food business, you need to work on a zero inventory model across. From procurement into the last mile, right? Including planning, everything has to be zero inventory model across. For example, we don't stock up finished goods or work in progress items, and we work with highly perishable fresh food with a 3-day shelf life. So during this period, weather change plays an extremely important role for us, and it gets very complicated. In fact, we actually had to stop some of the products because we were not able to procure the raw material. For example, we had launched a product called chutney, tomato chutney in the market. We were not able to get same quality tomato throughout the season, so we had to stop it. Now, another challenge that comes along with this is our products are 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing added in it. Now, climate or weather conditions plays an extremely important role again, because if you look at ID batter, and I'm just taking batter as example, it goes through traditional way of manufacturing, the same process that our grandmothers used to follow at home, which is sorting, then cleaning, washing, grinding, soaking, grinding, mixing, natural fermentation, then packaging and shipping to the market. Now, this natural fermentation, it doesn't work out during some seasons, right? Especially in a market like Delhi, right? In winter, our products won't ferment. So that's the kind of challenge that we face. So that results in hard idlis. So idlis becomes very hard during winter season. It's not because of my mistake. It's a weather issue. Now, another issue that I face is procurement of the raw material. We work with a particular raw material for idli making, right? Or dosa batter making, which is the idli rice, and that is being grown in a particular area in Tamil Nadu. Now, when a flood happens, gone. So, for example, last year, when the last 2 years, when the flood happened, we had very difficult times to procure the raw material. We had to manage with some of the raw material and still get it done. And of course, another issue is, many times availability becomes an issue, and most importantly, the pricing. We have seen the rice prices going up from 30 to 45, depending on the climate conditions. So these are the kind of challenges that we face. And of course, as Sodhir mentioned, our products are 100% fresh with very short shelf life, right? 3 to 6 days shelf life. Now, these products need to be refrigerated during transit and last mile storage as well. So when there is a power failure in the last mile storage, right, we get this 100% return. We have to exchange the products for the customers. Otherwise, customers will end up taking the wrong product or consuming the wrong product. So instead of taking the risk, we exchange that with the retailer. So all of them gets affected.
Thanks, Mustafa. In fact, before coming to Mr. Krishna Kumar, let me say that Mr. Mustafa has just mentioned about a particular crop which he depends for sourcing for idli, a flood getting into the picture and wiping it away. So I will just ask you, how does the accurate weather affect your smart farm products? I mean, you are into the digitization of farms. So how is it that you can help others? People like Mr. Mustafa from experiencing such nightmare experiences.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So as you know, we are AI and data led B2B AgTech company. Yes. And today we manage around 8 million acres of production in 52 countries for various organizations, enterprise client, or for government or for development agencies. And we came across various things we are seeing, right? So one aspect is climate resilient agriculture. How does farmer changes their practices to adapt to the changing climate? Because if you look at this, if the rain doesn't happen, your sowing window changes. The moment the sowing window changes, your yield drops. And that we have, when we are looking at, I mean, we broke down India into pixel by pixel, and we predicted which crop is growing where. And when we looked at the yield patterns, we found that whenever there is a late sowing, those kind of issues are happening. Or some due to the drastic climatic change. Let's say if you are in winter, you are doing potato, and there is a sharp decline in the temperature, there is a frost attack, which can impact the quality of your potato, and not good for the for the customers like McCain or ITC who are manufacturing fries or chips out of it, right? So they want to manage those kind of a risk. I'll give you a very short story. I think it was in early days, 2013 or 14. I was in UK, and I was pitching to one of the international clients who are into largely into fresh and fruits vegetable segment. And I was in their headquarter to make a presentation. Uh, I was waiting there, and they came and said, you have to give us some time because we have got into some big mess. And when they got some time for the presentation, they told us that we have a problem with asparagus. And what happened in the UK, there was a heat wave which was not supposed to come, and because of the heat wave, the product is coming a month or 15 days early. Now, since we already have a commitment with the large market retailers like Spencer's, Mark Spencer's, and other people, I can't go and supply to them. Then what do I do with the asparagus? I have to find a new market for it. So look at this unwanted heat wave caused the product to come early, and it impacted the whole their logistics and their commitment to their clients, right? And they have to, now they will fall short when they have actually committed to deliver, because it's coming too early. So those kind of a challenges comes into the whole agri supply chain. So it impacts the client side, which is where we work with the B2B, and it impacts the farmer because there is so much uncertainty and unpredictability because of the changing weather patterns, right? So extreme heat, heavy rains, or early rains or late rains, right? So these are impacting it. Now we have built AI models around it. So today we are able to tell you in advance 15 days using IBM, a lot of IBM parameters, that which disease can impact your farm. Whether there could be a late flight, and we have deployed this model globally. So we are delivering this in Africa, in LATAM and Europe, and we are predicting around 56 major diseases globally. We also look at the water stress at the 10 by 10 meter in the farm, and we give the alert to the company and to the farmer that there is a high water stress which can impact the quality of the crop, right? And we predict the yield. And in order to predict the yield, you need various parameters from the weather as well, which is the soil moisture during the season, how much rain has happened, and then there are energy balance model, and then there is a machine learning model which is taking the input from the satellites, and then tells you actually from this plot how much you should expect. And that will only have accuracy when I get accurate data from weather, and we globally use IBM weather, and we do work very closely on various projects as well. So I mean, yeah, so it has a very large, I mean, it has a large impact on the agriculture sector. I've also read, if there's a 1 degree change in temperature, you're going to lose the productivity by 20% of the major food grains in the world, right? And we are moving towards it, climate change, and there's so much discussion about that. And I think we should take a note of it, and we should do our bit in terms of whatever we can do to minimize the risk for the farmers, for our clients, and reduce the food losses. I'll stop here.
Great. Yeah. Coming back to Mr. Himanshu, can you just give examples of how the weather company has helped producers and retailers manage the fluctuations in supply chain?
Sure, Vincent.
Yeah.
So I think, we are hearing from the doers today, which is amazing. Dr. Sudhi, Mr. Mustafa. These gentlemen are building institutions which, in a developing country with all the challenges, is very admirable. I was just, telling my folks at home today that, do you really know how does a cake of amul butter reaches our home, and how does the ID food? I've started liking your vada, innovation really these days. What we believe is that we want to give a better service to the challenges they face, and I think we are a country which always looks for solution. We use that infamous word, which I don't want to use here, but we come out with a solution, no matter how humble or easy it is. But we are on a trajectory of imbibing science and technology. So the good news here is that with a lot of companies, including Amul and ID and others, have started imbibing technology in their business. They've started trusting it. They're trying to see a meaning, and they're really looking at till what level these companies can solve our challenges. So if I look at weather for our clients, Krishna and I literally dated for 6 months before he trusted my data, to be honest. And that was a dating engagement, to be honest with him. And now, he of course gives me, one day we go bad and he gives me a nice feedback. But we are getting to a point of threshold of trust that good input data with AI and new technologies, can you give data? Now, when we go to our clients, we essentially go by saying that, look, we will not claim we are IBM or we are world's best. No, we would say, whatever you're doing, apply our data in whatever decision making you're doing. If you're satisfied in next 15, 20, 30, 2 months, then start investing in it and see how more and what more you want. And beyond the data, then we have partners like Croppen and others who then further help mitigate the specific risk of, let's say, there's a disease in the crop, or there's a cow who's having a high heating temperature. Is there a way we can give an idea that, look, how do you put a canopy, or how do you manage the temperature? Or if you really have a cold chain problem, fermentation of idli, bad luck, when our mothers will throw us out, how do you ensure that we do some activity there to bring that naturalness with some technology portion? So I would say, Vincent, where we are going towards is, the good news I feel is, you see, when I started selling weather, I was like an insurance seller. No one would buy it unless someone has got stuck with it. But today, I see the good amount of data science minds which are coming to it. And with some experiments and examples we are able to create, there's a lot of co-learning and co-sharing in this area. So AgTech is really coming off shape. And I can tell you, in India, in last 2 years, the amount of work which has happened on AgTech at various levels with various, even competitors of ours who at times becomes collaborators. So I think in a tropical country where we have 26 tropical zones, literally, it's very hard to predict, but we are all trying to really get to a point that we can make a decision better with some percentage of confidence. So we are on that path.
Okay, very good. Dr. Sodhi Saab, my question to you will be, how is it that you work around the weather perils and forecasts of sudden bad weather and adjust your logistics currently?
Well, let me tell you, frankly speaking, our forecasting is not day-to-day basis, it's season to season. Okay. Winter, summer, raining, anything. And dairy, like Mr. Mustafa mentioned, dairy is highly perishable. Within 4 to 5 hours, you have to handle it. You can't keep it, okay, the floods are there, I'll collect after 6 months or 6 hours. No, even 1 hour delay, milk will get curdled. And like he mentioned, no inventory. In dairy, total inventory in the pipeline from producer to the consumer is 1 day, 24 hours. Even the whole, if suppose a dairy is handling 20 lakh liters milk in a day, you will not find at any given time 5 to 6 lakh liters of milk in that dairy. It is All 24 hours work. It's a flowing pipe. And whether or the temperature it is, there is nothing but heat.
Sorry, we have lost Mr. Sothi's sound, I suppose. Sorry, we can't hear you, Dr. Sothi. Hello. Can we wait for Dr. Sothi to come back? Yeah, he's here.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Now I can hear. Sorry,
Sure.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm extremely sorry. This technology is like this. Suddenly stop working. I don't know why. And then one-to-one is better. I'm now directly talking. So one-to-one is, you see, this is the problem with the technology or AI or other thing. So what so what I was saying, I don't know where you stopped listening, but I was telling the dairy whole inventory is only 24 hours. Any
Yes.
dairy plant will be at any given time will be having 25% of the daily capacity. And dairy is nothing but heating and chilling. When milk is received, it is chilled at 4 degrees centigrade, then transported in insulated trucks, and then again the dairy plant, again it is chilled, and then pasteurized at 72 degrees centigrade for 1 minute, or ultra treatment at 140 degrees centigrade for 2 seconds. Again it is chilled. Then again cold storage, again transportation in the refrigeration, and then at home also we don't consume it. So it is a whole weather. But like Mr. Himanshu, I mentioned earlier, so our production and demand varies with the weather condition. But frankly speaking, we only plan or predict for tomorrow on day-to-day basis. Otherwise, weather to weather. That's, I know now winter is coming. In December and January, I'll be getting 20% more milk. So we'll start planning now. What new capacity, what new logistic, what thing is there, and how to conserve that milk in commodity. Similarly, today only we have started planning about February, March to October. We know milk will be less, demand will be more. So what to do for during? So that projection because it, but day to day as such is in the evening only. What distributor places order for milk or buttermilk or dahi that tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock or he wants, that much will be packed today by 10 o'clock in the night.
Okay.
So planning is done during the day for next day only, depending upon the weather. And sometimes it happened, suddenly it has rained heavily and you see all the retailers and distributors left with 30-40% of the stocks unsold. And then they'll keep under refrigeration. Then that much less order will come next day. And suddenly, if it is a full sun of hot, there will be shortage in the market. Buttermilk or dahi will be over by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock during the day. So similarly, the ice creams also. So we'll be very happy to look at such solution. But frankly speaking, day to day, we are not doing any weather forecasting and planning production.
Okay. Because there's a trend for meteorologists taking up non-meteorology designations, like they're more and more being appointed as sales in the sales and distribution and logistics departments. So from the forecasting business, they are looking to serve other departments, sales, distribution, and logistics. So have you looked at that as a possible new designation for meteorologists into your scheme?
No. I mean, no. It's all gut feeling. I mean, we know that 20% less, 12% more, winter, summer, rainy. So that is our play. But like I said, day to day, there's no such play. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I can tell you yesterday what was the temperature in Bombay or Delhi or Calcutta, or whether there was a rain or not yesterday.
Okay.
Because sale of ice cream, sale of butter, sale of milk, sale of curd, sale of beverage is directly proportional to the temperature and the rains.
Okay.
But not for tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Soder Saab. Mr. Mustafa, have you observed any correlation of weather and consumer demand for your products, I mean, from season to season to season? Or is it exactly depending on a weather event which is forecast to happen anytime in future?
There's definitely, a correlation between the weather condition and the consumer demand.
Okay.
Um, you know, geographical, demographical demand depends on the seasonal aspect as well. So,
Okay.
for example, if you look at one of our products, which is just launched, tender coconut,
Okay.
that's right, and people don't buy it during winter season.
Yeah.
So it's almost like 1:10.
Okay.
A variation that you notice with a product like tender coconut. Yeah, so this I was saying about the buttermilk. It's a similar thing that we observed with a product like tender coconut. Now, interestingly, paratha sales peak during winter season. Another interesting observation. Right? Similarly, people end up consuming a lot of filter coffee and vada during winter.
Yes.
So the things that we observed, of course, there is a correlation. Overall, business-wise, when our paratha sales goes down during summer, idli picks up. So overall, we are able to manage. But product-wise, there is variation.
Okay. Right.
Some products like tender coconut is very difficult to predict.
Okay.
Two reasons. One, of course, is the fresh products, and weather plays an extremely important role for the consumption. And second thing, even procurement becomes tough.
Okay.
And price also picks up, right? For example, for a product like tender coconut, if it is 18 rupees procurement cost during winter season, it goes up to like 30 during summer. The procurement cost.
Oh, okay.
And even during summer, it will be difficult for you to procure tender coconut. It may not be available in the market.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Mustafa. Mr. Krishna Kumar, there is actually something called the digital supply network, together with suppliers and customers, which manufacturers are. I mean, it's a network being promoted outside. So it involves machine-to-machine communication and critical data and other information. So, do you think such a need for such a network, being called into place in a country like India, which we are a tropical country after all? So, do you? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think as we continue our journey on the digital highway of agriculture, I see a lot of interest in IoT, robotics, where you need to generate enough data from every pixel of the farm. Correct. The question is whether there is enough ROI for farmer or not. Now, what we are trying to augment using satellite technology and weather technology, do we really need those sensors? In a farm which is of 0.2 acres or 1 acre or 2 hectares, which is average land holding in India, will the farmer be able to spend those bills and it will make sense? So somewhere you can augment, somewhere you have to place those, machines and sensors on those farms, looking at which crops you are doing and what you are doing with those crops and what is the market value of those crops. I see a lot of demand coming from international markets where we have already connected our platform with drones, with sensors, with machines which are generating a lot of data on the farms. That has to go into the model to help them to become more predictive and prescriptive. For developing nations, I think the combination of AI technologies with high resolution satellite data and the weather data will augment a lot of those machines and generate data which can provide almost similar kind of results to them.
Okay. Okay. It seems Mr. Himanshu has a question to address to Dr. Soti and Mr. Mustafa. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Korean. Wilson.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm just showing a slide. Can you all see the slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I have a question to Mr. Sodhi first, and then followed by Mr. Mustafa. So, Mr. Sodhi, who develops these amazing ads around climate change and weather at your place? I know Amul is incredible, but yesterday I just Googled and I thought, I'm sure Amul would have done something with weather. And these are two examples I could pull out.
You're on mute.
Hello, yeah, Himanshu ji. Again, these topical or creatives have been created yesterday basis. Again, how weather they impacted. See, these creative must have come. Everybody must have been talking about the heat wave or the floods in the Bombay and other thing. So because this creative or this campaign we started 55 years back, or anything or everything is happening in domestic or globally, in politics, in Bollywood, in sports, in weather, anything you talk, this campaign. And this is created by an advertising agency, Dakuna Associates, and they create it and they put it. We see it when you see it.
Okay.
Only we, we only sign the bill. That also is a peanuts, nothing. I mean, this is nothing much is spent on this very campaign, which is running from the last 55 years.
It's just amazing. And thank you. No, this really puts the moods of the day. And I will now remember.
I had a point there for this, sir. So, sir, really being a marketer, really appreciate the kind of thinking that goes behind. But I want to add one point here. It cannot be accidental. It is by choice and it's by plan. And I can actually relate to what Sodhi sir said, right? A fresh food mindset is extremely important in taking such decisions. Because if you don't take a decision today, it gets spoiled tomorrow.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you don't put up this ad today, it is not relevant tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a fresh product.
I think it's a mindset.
Wow.
So you cannot expect that from a long life player, because they're not tuned to think along fresh food. When Sodhi sir and team is thinking just a fresh food thing, even the ideas would be fresh, and whatever is not done today is completely spoiled tomorrow.
You're right. So I think a very new angle you're given. We are in fresh food, so this is the fresh food creatives.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mustafa, what makes you make these amazing ads as well? I mean, your appeal is, more towards the passion of the mother at home or naturalness of the food. So it's a fresh thing, but in a different. So since you put your marketing hat now, I would want to hear this.
So an Indian homemaker is a gatekeeper for the kitchen. He or she will never let idli inside her kitchen. A homemaker is okay to buy a idli batter and make steaming idli, add her love, and serve it hot to the family. If idli comes out well, homemaker gets the credit, not ID. And if for some reason, if dosa is not crispy, she can blame it on me, brand ID. What I've learned is never try to replace the role of a customer. Help your customers to do the job better. So out here, in the case of ID, we help homemakers to do the job better. We don't sell idli. We sell idli batter. She gets a credit, not ID. Now, in the whole thing, we kept our product 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives. Even if you look at your packaging was the innovation. So usually packaging is utilized to transport a product from one place to another place. Let's say from a factory to the stores to the homes. But I think packaging can play a larger role. Packaging can be utilized, the right packaging can be utilized to preserve the freshness of the product. Instead of adding chemicals in the food, you can actually invest behind packaging technology to maintain the freshness of the product. That's what we do. We don't add chemicals, preservatives in the food, but we invested behind packaging technology, right specification of the packaging technology to maintain the freshness of the product. That's the second aspect. Third aspect of the packaging is about the communication with the customers, right? So if you look at our we used our packaging to communicate something very, very important to consumer. For example, if you look at this tender coconut packaging that you've done here, we actually mentioned the amount of water and the pulp inside the coconut without me opening the coconut, right? That was like a very disruptive way of looking at the packaging. And the fourth one, which is probably the most important thing, packaging, you can use it to give an experience to the consumer. So for example, the pack that you just displayed here, the batter pack, you can actually make idli directly from the batter pack. You don't have to transfer the batter into the vessel. So we don't actually invest behind marketing. As Sodhi sir said, we actually spend peanuts on the. In fact, in the last 15 years, my total marketing spend would be less than 25 crores. Total marketing spend in 15, not 1 year, 15 years. That would be the maximum that we would have spent. But we identify the right packaging and use that packaging to communicate with the customers. In fact, one thing that I've learned is packaging is the cheapest real estate for you, which actually reaches the customer. So invest behind packaging, communicate with the customers, and give experience to the consumer. For example, when you make vada from ID vada batter pack, the moment vada batter comes out from the batter pack, like a round shape, that is like a wow moment for many customers. It was a first-time experience, right? So those are things that we have done with very minimal spend and try to build a brand. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I mean,
Yeah.
Amul ID has so much of thought behind everything you do. Is so impressive. Thank you. I'm glad I asked this question, Vincent.
Yeah, thank you. Can we go into, we have some questions from the audience. So I have a question to Dr. Sothi. This comes from Mansi Watts. She asked, how will the supply of more milk during winters be managed and lack of supply during summer season to meet the increased demand? I think you've already mentioned. Yeah, please. Oh, sorry. Dr. Sothi, you're...
Yeah. I think her question is right.
Yes.
Because during summer, production is less by 25% and demand is 5 to 10% more. And winter, 25% more and demand is less. See, fortunately, one answer is for Amul and one answer is for dairy industry. Dairy industry answer is that whatever surplus is there during winter, it is conserved in the form of milk powder and white butter. And this white butter and milk powder is converted into milk during summer. So that shortage as far as Amul is concerned, we are lucky that our milk collection during summer will be minimum 175 lakh liters and winter it will be 240-50 lakh liters. Okay, but our liquid milk sale is only 150 lakh liters. So all 365 days we have got fresh milk to be sold as milk. So we don't want to make first powder and then convert into the milk powder. But whatever extra products we make like baby food or dairy whiteners or a lot of other products during summer, powder or white butter like ghee. All white butter during these hours also white butter is converted into ghee. Similarly, table butter also will produce more during winter, which will be used during the summer. Cheese is manufactured 6 months before. Okay, so like that it is we are conserving and moving the milk solid from winter to summer.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Satisab. Next question is addressed to Himanshu. This is from Rahul Bedi. He asks, can you talk about how you source real-time weather data and ensure that accuracy of data from the field?
Sure. Hi, Rahul. So our sources are manifold. So we collect data from satellites, from the algorithm which runs through a lot of sensor networks. We have a website called Weather Underground, which has the world's largest crowdsourced personal weather data systems, personal weather stations. And all this data, and also, let me not forget, we also get data from our relationships with many mobile carriers. So we are the de facto weather provider in Samsung phones as well as the Apple phone, if you recognize the Blue app. So with all this data, we amalgamate it into over 160 odd, algorithms which are proprietary in nature. And from each of them, we produce a data set for respective business needs. So whether it's aviation or ground transport or agriculture or energy, or retail, so Dr. Sodi and Mr. Mustafa talked about weather-based patterns of consumption. So in a hot climate, I can probably not eat paratha, but in a cold climate, I will prefer a paratha. So with those things can be well predicted using this data set. And, and let me add, with good paratha goes good butter as well. So, in winters, both our panelists will make different profits there. So, yeah, but I can share more with you, Rahul, offline for the paucity of time here.
There is another question from Robin Das Gupta. This is again addressed to Mr. Himanshu. Can we look at forecasting a cold winter in Norway 6 to 7 months in advance? He's sourcing gloves for cold winter.
Yes, so we have something called a seasonal forecast. That's a 6 to 7 month rolling forecast, which we produce using historic data. Now that is numerically done, but it is far accurate because we have seen a lot of climate change in the last 5 years. So even if you use 5 years data, while we use more to predict those trends, and there's an anomaly of around 8 to 10% in it, which is well acceptable by industry standards. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. The next question is for Mr. Mustafa. What is the best advice, experience from your business regarding weather challenge and other challenges you want to give to new entrepreneurs? Sorry, your speaker is off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
I am still learning, so I'm not the right person to comment about the weather challenge, experience.
Okay.
I'm still learning. On the overall entrepreneurship, my experience is learn to fail. Learn to fail, and that's the only way to learn and build a large business. It's been almost 4,000 days that I've started and I joined ID full time, and I would have failed at least 40,000 times, at least minimum 10 failures every day. So the more you fail, the more you learn. So today, we are able to take the right distance from our experience, but we gained experience from our past failures.
Okay.
My simple piece of advice to all the entrepreneurs out here, or would-be entrepreneurs out here, will be prepared to fail. It is not easy to succeed in first attempt.
Yeah.
You should learn to fail and be prepared to fail before you venture into this business.
Okay. There's one other question addressed to Mr. Mustafa, but I think Mr. Krishna Kumar also may like to reply. It's from Lakshmi. She asks, how does weather data and other AI results help in fresh food business? Does ID use them currently? Maybe you can both.
I can give an attempt. So when we started ID, we were sending 100 packets to the markets, and it took us almost 9 months to sell 100 packets. When we're sending 100 packets initially, 90 used to come back unsold because idli batter in a pack is something which customers were not willing to buy from the market. Plus, this is a highly perishable fresh food. So over a period of 3 years, we started sending around 2,000 kg of batter into the market, in which we used to get around 500 unsold return, which is around 25% return. There was no way for us to make this business profitable and scalable with that kind of wastage. We then started capturing store-wise, item-wise sales and wastage data for the last 10 years. So, for example, on November 20th, the last 10 years, I have the sales data and wastage data at a store level. We now use this data to predict the demand for the right store on the right day. So we use AI to the mission and data analytics as well to predict the right demand, and even for the production forecasting. Because so this has said, right, whatever we manufacture today everything has to go to market tomorrow, 100%. If one packet is left, you cannot send that to market tomorrow. So the production forecasting as well as sales forecasting was extremely important. Now, let me give you the history. I mean, that was history that we had, right? Now, in a mature city, mature product, like a batter business in Bangalore, my wastage will be less than 2%, right? With a 6-day shelf life product. And that happens with the power of technology.
So, Mr. Krishnakumar, you want to supplement?
Yeah, so I can share the experience of the clients with whom we work in Fresh. The way they are using weather data is to enable their farmers to take better decisions, right? As I mentioned, if you can predict the frost, they can sprinkle water in the last evening, so in the morning the stress will not high, or to predict the disease for them, or to manage their harvest window. Correct. So they want 7 days forecast. They want sometime 3 months to 6 month forecast, so they can plan better for the upcoming season as well. So that has been the trend, the way they are using it. It's become very important for them as well because the production is at stake, right? And lot can be read much before something happens through this data. Okay. And that's where we play the role. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll just come to Himanshu with the last question for this webinar. This is from Ravi Kumar Mileswamy. He asks, to what accuracy can IBM predict weather 6 months in advance so that anyone could plan production accordingly?
As I said earlier, we do a numerical prediction which ranges from 72% to 94% accuracy. Things like temperature gets very accurately defined. That's if I were to put a parallel, wind speed is around 91%. Precipitation, which is a larger challenge, is around between 83 to 89% accurate. So there's a ratio, and as we call as anomalies in meteorological terms. But what happens is once you start using this data, you can do your anomaly-based planning versus what actually will happen and what we are predicting, and then go further. So as Mr. Mustafa shared that 15 years of sales data and then some weather patterns, and they figure out the demand generation based on seasons. Yes, so data has a lot of insights when you start using it. So I'll recommend that.
Before closing, Mr. Himanshu, there's an audience poll that IBM wants to launch.
Sure. So first of all, I would, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'll just read it out. This is an advertisement of IBM here. So the weather company and IBM Business invites you to schedule a one-to-one consultation with me, Himanshu, to discuss how weather can impact your business. If you're interested, just chime in yes or otherwise, and we'll be happy to go and follow this up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we come to the end of the session. We have had a beautiful interaction with you all. Thanks very much for your time. And thanks, Sodhi Saab, for sitting through the entire session. Thanks, Mustafa, Krishna Kumar, and of course, Himanshu Goyal. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.